This is part 1 of Zero Wait State's interview series with Cantel Medical.
Hi, this is Steve Porter from Zero Wait State. I'm here today with Tim Brown from Cantel, and we're going to be talking about some various topics in the PLM space. I'm going to let Tim kind of qualify himself versus giving him a formal introduction, because I think he can probably talk about his qualifications better than I can. And so we're just going to go through a series of questions that we think companies that are using PLM, people in positions of support in those companies would be interested in kind of knowing the answers to. So Tim, I wanted to start out with the first question, which is, what is your experience level with PLM? Could you give us your background and the systems you have worked with previously, and what specifically you've leveraged in PLM in your previous roles, or what you've leveraged it for in your previous roles?
Sure. Thanks, Steve, for having me today. So I've been working with PLM and quality management systems for about the last 20 years or so. And so the current system that I'm currently working with is Propel PLM. Have worked a lot with the Agile PLM space, Windchill, ETQ, Master Control, different labeling systems, and different systems that interact with PLM systems as well. ERP systems all have some sort of integration or some sort of activity that ties in with that PLM system, whether or not it's item or numbering control or it's revision, bill of material processes. There's always some sort of connection between that. I think there's in previous roles also in the QMS system, you're really looking around what is driving around that finished good, what's happening around that product definition, and you start to see some of the other applications and processes that drive into that, like CAPAs and audits, manufacturing nonconformances, complaints, even investigations that might happen as a result of design and development types of things. And we've really, in past roles, we've really been able to utilize the PLM system and expand it to incorporate information that's coming from all of these different areas, give it a consistent process, show the end users where their information, where their data is going, and really be able to improve an organization's either throughput in a process or throughput in their development activities.
It's fair to say you have kind of a theme in your career as far as the types of companies that you've worked with as well. What is it about sort of the medical device space? And I'm sorry, I'm going off script here a little bit.
No, that's fine.
What is it about the medical device space that kind of attracted you? And how do you feel about technology, this technology, and sort of really helping specifically companies in that medical device space?
Yeah, out of the military, I got involved with a medical device startup, and worked in the document control space, and that really started to see some of the need for to be able to show an auditor, but also the need to be able to explain what you're doing to from a process, from a product. How is this product built? What are the processes that go into that? Whether or not it's med device or any, even pharmaceutical has the same type of requirements, where the process of manufacturing an item is just as important as the product that you're producing. Or the product definition activity, just as important as the drawing and as the bill of material. The information on how you're developed or how you're manufacturing and the controls that you put in place is just as important. And med device has really jumped on that activity, or on that bandwagon, if you will, to say, we need to be able to document that, and in order to prove that our product is valid, and then be able to prove on top of that that it's safe and effective, and for our customers, our end users that are using this medical device, or hospitals that are using the med device, it really goes to show the amount of effort that gets put into that, and the control of that information just makes it a lot easier to work with and develop those products.
Thanks. So, having worked with multiple PLM systems and having recently implemented Propel PLM for your current company, can you kind of contrast the experience implementing sort of the traditional on-premise PLM versus a modern cloud-based system like Propel?
Sure. One of the biggest things that we saw in this recent implementation was really the speed in which we can start to see that end product. So if you're looking at an agile type of an approach, or an agile type of an approach to implementing a system or updating a system.
The method, not the product.
Yeah,
right?
the method, right? You're looking at an agile method. You're seeing your minimal viable product right away. You're seeing, okay, I'm logging in, I'm seeing this information, and how do you want to tweak this? What are your processes associated to that? And so the speed in which we're able to give the team members, the people engaged in this product or in this process, the ability to see that activity, and so just getting hands-on, getting people engaged in that, made it go a whole lot faster, and we could tell the people that were engaged in the system were also really engaged in the process, and it made those conversations a lot easier.
So, just to kind of summarize that, is it fair to say that the technology itself was more, I guess, accessible up front so that you could get more people involved more quickly than with a traditional on-premise solution? That it
Yeah,
was
definitely. We
more
weren't.
finished,
Mhm.
from the beginning, and then it's a matter of configuration. Is that kind of how you experienced it?
Yeah, definitely. We weren't waiting for servers to be stood up. We weren't waiting for environments to be uh, requisitioned, or things like that. When we started off, and in 2 weeks we had our initial product, and was able to, as soon as we signed our licensing, we were able to continue moving forward, and with very little delay.
Okay. So now that how long have you been on Propel now?
We've been on Propel for about 3 years.
Okay. So over this time, have you or your users identified specific advantages of using a cloud-based system like Propel versus a legacy on-premise system, just from functionality perspective? What are some of the things that you can do in Propel that you weren't able to do like in an on-premise system?
Sure. I think one of the biggest pieces, specifically with Propel, because it's connected to the Salesforce platform, is that we're able to deal with user authentication a lot better than we have been able to in previous, or even in other systems. At the time that we went live with Propel, we didn't have some of those user authentication systems in our own environment. We've since grown up a little bit on that, but that was a big advantage that we're able to do there. System installation, when we go through versions or we go through changes, we still have our development environments, we have our QA environments, and a production environment. Those are a lot simpler and easier to manage those changes throughout the Propel lifecycle. We even have we manage our Propel PLM lifecycle of that product within our instance. And so definitely, having it a cloud, cloud system, it makes that that process a lot easier. And then just the user experience with a web-based application, you're able to uh, not have to go out and touch all of the computers that are using this application. In fact, I don't even have to touch the Salesforce servers whenever we do an update. It's done as part of our process. So
Keep watching for part 2.